each of your distribution systems, make sure you have a water tap, a sample tap for each well. It creates, okay, I'll just say it creates problems for us, but it's to your advantage. Believe me, it is. I don't have time to explain all this, but it creates a lot of problems. If we find total coliform, we're doing an investigation. If we can't sample your well, now I know I'm not asking for a tap on the well, but usually there's a drain at the pressure tank. But in some rare instances, folks, you have no means of sampling the well. You have to sample at cabin 7 after it goes through all this plumbing. So if you're getting, you can't tell if the bacteria in the well, that's the problem. So we should have a sample tap for each of your well, and also, again, a pressure gauge that's functioning for each of your separate plumbing systems. And folks are being very good at not asking me questions, so jump right in there if you do, if you have it.
I have a question back on that one. So if you've got it down in the ground, you've got to pump it someplace to get to a spigot. I mean, you don't usually have a spigot right where it goes in the ground.
That's correct, yeah.
So you're still going to have to pump it through some underground pipe.
Oh, yeah, yes. But proximity means everything. If, let's just say, for example, I've investigated many, not because I'm smart, it's not because I'm good, it's just because I've been around so damn long. I've investigated many TC contamination events through my career. And sometimes they're associated with water softeners. So if you're investigating a total, I'm working with you, you want this to get over as soon as possible. You don't want to be dealing with this. You want me around. You just want to get on with business. I'm trying to help you. I am.
Yeah. Well,
so I'm sampling. If I got to go to cabin 7 and it's all softened water, I can't tell you the softener's a problem, the well's a problem. I can just say something's a problem. If I can get a sample out of the well before the softener, that nothing is for sure, but I can suggest that it's the problems in the well, and maybe the softener too.
Yeah.
By this point. Okay, good. Thank you for the question. So I think we're okay. We're on till 11. It's like 20 to 11, but I have a few more things I want to talk about. So I'm going to go a little bit longer, and then we still have time for questions. And as Chris mentioned, we'll be in the display area or the vendors area, so you can come up with and grill us later if you want. Let us know what you think about the Minnesota Department of Health. So anyway, you have water treatment systems, and I would just say, in this case, that's a filthy brine tank in a water softener. You're asking for a bacteria problem, if you allow that to happen. And really, you should be inspecting, your water softener brine tank in the spring to make sure there's no dead mice in it and stuff. But I would suggest that it get cleaned out in the fall. That's the logical time to tidy it up. Low on salt, scrub it out, add a little bleach water, clean it out, have it nice and clean to start the spring. That'd be my suggestion. But we're not requiring a shutdown procedure. The rule requires a startup procedure. Hence, don't start off the season with a filthy water softener is my point. And then cartridge filters, yeah, they're fine. They do something. They only do something if they're maintained, and if they're not maintained, they typically make your water worse. And we've had bacteria problems associated with, improperly maintained cartridge filters. So, did you have a question, sir? Okay. And so, inspector treatment system, one of your favorites, I'm sure. The government's never we're always gonna bug you about this, and it's one of those defects that Chris talked about. So it's one of those things that we find now, and we say, you gotta fix this, and you don't fix it, ultimately it's gonna put you on increased monitoring. You'll lose the ability to be on monthly or annual monitoring. So if you've been fighting, I am not gonna put an air gap on my water softener. Well, I'm sorry to say the government's got a bigger hammer now. So make sure that with your discharge lines from your water softeners, or if you have a backwashing media filter or carbon filter, anything that discharges to a waste stream, okay, a treatment component, make sure it shoots through the air. Actually, the plumbing code, and the plumbing code is going to change, by the way, I don't think this will be changed too much, but it's, the plumbing code says twice the diameter of that discharge pipe. So if that's a 3/4 inch or a 1/2 inch line, the discharge through the air has to be 1 inch. So that's good, that's bad, okay? And what happens is, some years, this stays good, and then if you were my client, when I come to do that, Chris was talking about the annual site visit, you know, we do our inspections every 3 years, but now we have to do this little mini inspection to keep the EPA happy, to keep you on annual monitoring. We look for sanitary defects. If I knew you had this, I wouldn't say, Eldon, I need to go look at your water softener and make sure you got an air gap there, because it was there last year, and it's not gonna change. But if you have this situation and it's strapped up on the wall, my point was that these things have a tendency to get lower through the years, and the sanitarian might be more interested in making sure that there was an air gap with this kind of installation. That's a done deal. You don't ever have to worry about the government bugging you again. Well, I shouldn't say never.
Yeah.
Hopefully never. Hopefully never on that. Hopefully never on that, okay? You know, so, yeah. I'm not working against you here. I'm trying to give you guys good information.
Do they have anything for that air gap that you could have for an outside system?
Discharge it to the ground surface? What? You have to, I mean, these things are.
I don't want somebody throwing something in that other little piece of pipe.
Should I go back one?
With the big, the 4-inch going.
Yep. Let me see if I can make sure. Okay, so you're concerned about this?
Nope.
Somebody dropping stuff down in there?
The other one, I'm open to the public, yes.
This one?
Yeah.
So if that were outside, you're saying?
It's open to people walking by.
Yeah, well, you know, it would be, how about if you are you worried about liquid or solids?
Anything in there.
Well, I was just thinking, you
Liquids
know,
would.
if it were mine, you could put chicken wire over it, and you're not defeating the plumbing code, but someone could still pour their gin and tonic down there if that, you know, if that's what you're trying to avoid. But no one could throw a, you know,
Cigarette butt.
yeah, there you go. Yeah, yeah. That's a great question. I don't know if I have a great answer for you.
Well,
Probably not.
I made one.